Bodied. Okay, look, if you want to work out and you're on the Stairmaster and you can't go one more minute, download Get Me Bodied by Beyonce, okay? I promise you, you will finish your workout. It is so good. Speaking of working out and shedding weight, do you know who is with me? She's extraordinary for a number of reasons. I'm looking at her book right now in front of me. This is her 10th book since 2008. You know what that means? That means that Lisa Lillien puts out more than a book a year. You're like Mary Higgins Clark, okay? First of all, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. It's so good to be here.
What are you doing? How on earth? First of all, there's clearly a desperate need for what you are letting people, or what you are teaching people, right? You found that, haven't you?
Yes, for sure. And it's so rewarding that I am so inspired and excited to keep going and going. And I'm hungry and I love food. And so I am inspired at everything I see and when I watch TV. And so I just want to keep creating recipes.
It's called the Hungry Girl Diet Cookbook, and you know her, okay? As Kathy Ryan says, if you go to Weight Watchers, everybody's talking about her. We want your recipes. But let me talk about you for a second. You were like a lot of us. You had a little extra weight on you. You wanted it off, 15, 20, 25 pounds, whatever it was. And we all do the same things. We try the fad. It doesn't work. We try something else. So tell me, what was the realization for you?
Well, I grew up with a yo-yo dieting mom, in Brooklyn. She was on the cabbage soup diet and eating 9 grapefruits and then not eating anything and then just drinking everything.
Do you remember liquid protein?
So that's what she was on.
Proline. Yes.
Yeah, she was on something I think called Sustacal or Optifast, all of those diets. And so I grew up thinking that was the thing to do. You go on a diet and go off a diet. And one day I woke up and I said, it's not about some magic bullet. It really makes sense. You have to identify the foods that work for you, change your lifestyle. And for me, it was really start to avoid starchy carbs.
Okay.
Because that's a trigger food for me.
Right.
And when I gave those up, I didn't really miss them after a while. And then that's when I dropped all the weight.
Okay.
And after that, I just thought, okay, I need to start incorporating things back and creating recipes and swapping and being a mad scientist. And that's how I created the Hungry Girl brand.
So are you a cook? Is that your thing? Do you love the kitchen? Do you love creating?
No. I wish I could say yes. I mean, I love creating. I'm a mad scientist.
Okay.
And I'm a person that will stop at nothing to find the answers that I need, so in any arena at all. But I was not a person who loved being in the kitchen. In fact, when I got married, my mother-in-law, who I love dearly, who's an amazing cook in Memphis, Tennessee, said to my husband, I love Lisa, but I wish she could cook. Literally, that's what she said. So,
what did you do in your spare time since the cooking wasn't your thing? What did you do?
I like to shop and I like to go to the beach and I like to play with my dog and I just like
that kind of stuff.
That kind of stuff. It wasn't cooking, but cooking is therapeutic and it's fun. I don't want to make it seem like I don't like to cook because
But the key is finding things that were tasty and delicious, but sort of felt like the foods that you liked, but had fewer calories. And
yes, I mean, I think what I'm really good at is I think I have taste buds that are sort of universal. So I think I know what people will like when I taste it. I can say, well, half the people might like this or 80% of the world might like that. Yeah. But I can also mimic the taste of something. So I can say, I can make something that has 1/10 of the calories of something else.
Give me an example of something that would surprise us.
Well, I mean, the whole idea of using Fiber One breakfast cereal to coat onions and make onion rings out of that just happened on a random Sunday in my kitchen when I was craving onion rings and I was home and I looked in the pantry and I found it. I said, I remember my friend's mom's making cornflake chicken when I was growing up. I said, well, why not try to use this Fiber One?
Tell me what happened.
I was jumping up and down like a maniac in the kitchen, and I was I ran and gave them to my husband, and he really loved them. It was really life changing.
How did you cook those? So to describe, in the oven or did you drop in the fryer?
No fryer. No fryer.
I don't know.
It's funny because I have no experience with a deep fryer.
Okay, so you baked them.
I baked them. Like I do everything. I always feel like you don't really need oil and you don't need all the other bad stuff and you can bake it instead of frying it and it tastes just as good.
When did you know? I mean, look, this is something you enjoyed, so you were figuring out these things as you went. How did you decide to go from liking this idea to turning it into a brand and making it something that a way you could make a living?
Well, I was working in entertainment at the time. I worked in TV. I was working for Warner Brothers. I worked for Nickelodeon for a long time. And we had these like 360 executive evaluations. And the corporate therapist said to me, I shouldn't be saying this. Maybe I'm speaking out of line, but everyone you report to and everyone who reports to you, they say you're very entrepreneurial. Have you ever thought of starting your own business? And I said, well, I think about it, but I have so many ideas that I talk myself into and out of things every day.
Okay.
But the thing that really made me turn the corner was the day I was driving in my car to a lab an hour and a half away from where I live with these pastries to have them tested for calorie counts.
Oh, my God.
And I thought, okay, I'm crazy. I mean, I'm like, I'm a little nutty, and that I could really help a lot of people.
Did you have to, because a lot of people want to try something entrepreneurial on their own. Did you leave your job to start your new job, or did you keep the job you had and then kind of cultivate the other thing until you could sustain it?
It was a little of both. I mean, I had such a great relationship at Warner Brothers that they were so nice. They said, could you please consult and we'll let you keep your office? And I did all of that. But I really I kind of went cold turkey. It was about maybe 2 or 3 months into it. And I said, I'm just going to go for it.
Was it really scary? Because I know people who step off that cliff. It's sink or swim. Were you afraid?
I was afraid because I had a great job and I'm a person who likes safety and stability and I'm overly responsible. Yes. It was scary, but I'm also a workaholic. And I know that like I was going to stop at nothing and really try to make it successful.
So year one, tell me, I'm curious because I love these kind of stories, but how did you develop this into something sustainable?
Well, year one, I ended up like, even though I had that office, I worked out of my kitchen and I was in my sweats most of the time. And my husband would come home, he'd produce his TV and he'd be a wreck and he'd say, are you still sitting at the kitchen table eating tasteless wafers? That's what he would call all the food I was reviewing. And he's like, if you could find out a way to make a penny doing this, you're the smartest person I know.
So how did you make money off of it in the beginning?
You know, early on, it was before blogs.
Yeah.
It was a daily email service, and I loved to write, and the writing was very relatable and fun and funny, and I didn't take the food part of it too seriously. So people started sharing those emails with their friends, and the audience grew so quickly.
So what were some of your hit emails early on? What did you write about?
Well, I mostly did survival guides and product reviews, but the first time I put recipes in, I think it might have been a baked stuffed potato and maybe an iced coffee drink, the recipes went through the roof.
Everybody loved them.
And I said, okay, recipes, they're going to be my thing.
That's the way.
But it was mostly the food companies that were seeing response from the audience. So that's when I started getting partnerships.
Okay.
And I only accept, ad dollars and only have partnerships with companies and products that I love and that I use.
Well, I like the simplicity of the recipes because that's really what sells it, isn't it? People don't have time to be slaving over things or finding weird ingredients in crazy stores. They just want basics.
Yes. I mean, I used to look at cookbooks and I'd be like, this recipe looks interesting. Oh, the word sift is in there. I don't know how to sift. Like anytime I saw a word or a product I didn't understand, I would close the book.
Yeah.
So I vowed to never have any recipe that wasn't super easy.
What made your recipes unique? In a sea of gazillions of recipes that are out there, what made yours stand out, do you think?
I think it was how easy it is to recreate foods that everybody craves and wants in a way that is not only simple, but for a tiny fraction of the calories and fat.
Yeah, trying to create low fat, low cal isn't easy. So in this book, the Hungry Girl Diet Cookbook, I'm joined by Lisa Lillien, who wrote this. It's her 10th book since 2008. Are they all New York Times bestsellers?
They have been up until now.
You're sick. Okay. This is crazy. Do you look at the list? Do you freak out a little? Or do you just do one of those like, I don't pay attention to the list?
I don't know. I freak out a little. I'm just
know.
so thankful that anybody is interested in the books and that they're still buying them. I can't, even meeting people on the road. I'm on a book tour now. It's just starting. It brings tears to my eyes every single time.
What kind of things do people say when they see you?
Oh, they say that I've changed their lives or that I saved their lives.
Tell me.
They'll wait in line. They'll drive 5 hours. And sometimes it's men, which always makes me really excited because it's Hungry Girl.
Yeah.
And so mostly it's women. And it just, it really makes me cry every time.
So are they talking about how they feel healthier, how they've lost weight, how it's changed them?
How it's changed them and how this is the first thing that they've ever done that they feel like is something they could live with for the rest of their lives, that it's changed their way of thinking instead of them thinking about being on and off a diet.
How do you get someone to change their way of thinking? Because I think a lot of people think they can do it or try, but sometimes they want, like you said, to cut the carbs and move on, or cut the gluten or do whatever, the sugar. How do you reprogram your brain?
you really have to make somebody pay close attention to their own body and their own triggers.
Right.
And that's the thing. A lot of people just want easy answers. They say they're so busy. Just tell me I can't eat this or that, or I'll only eat organic or all natural, which is fine, but it's not going to cut the calories. And at the end of the day, it's calories in versus calories burned,
out,
right? And so you have to eat the foods that make you feel the fullest, that make you feel the most satisfied, and avoid the things that make you eat everything in sight.
All right. So when I'm paging through this cookbook, in it you have it divvied up between breakfast, lunches, and dinners. So how does it work? So you can, if I page through and I pick a breakfast, a lunch, and a dinner, and I make that in a day, and I do it over and over.
Yes.
You know, pick
you will
different
lose weight.
I will?
Yes.
Well, give me the book. Okay.
You may have it. It's a cookbook companion to the diet plan.
Sure.
But let's say you don't know what the diet plan is and you don't really want to, and you just want to pick your breakfast, lunches, and dinners. All of these are completely nutritionally balanced, meaning if you did pick one breakfast, one lunch, one dinner, and 3 snacks,
all day.
You'd be okay not only calorie-wise, but across the board. Carbs, fiber, protein, fat.
Your 4-week diet plan, if you could just nutshell it for me, what is it?
The nutshell is it's eating. I mean, I like foods that give me the most bang for my calorie buck. So a lot of the recipes are huge. And in the beginning, there would be people that wanted to lose 100 pounds, but they'd say, there's too much food for me to eat on this plan. And I'm like, no, there's not. It's just that the portions are huge.
Wait. No, I already know this. They say smaller portions, okay? I've already seen it everywhere. They even give you plates that give you the portioned out.
It's depressing.
Yeah. So you say no?
I say no to that if you're eating the right foods. So like I tend to eat, like I'll use an ingredient, broccoli coleslaw.
Okay.
You can eat like this huge bag of it for 100 calories. So I throw that in a skillet with a little bit of marinara and some shrimp and whatever, seasoning, spices, and you get a huge plate of food.
Portion, right.
And I'm not saying everything, you shouldn't train yourself to only eat huge portions, but when you're watching your weight and you're counting calories and you have the time and you can prep some food, you want to eat nice, sizable portions to keep you satisfied.
What about snacks? Because I think that's a lot of our downfall, in between stuff. You reach for anything, so what are some good snacks that people can munch on that will help them?
You need to be prepared. You always have to have your emergency snacks in your purse at all times.
What do you bring in your bag?
In my bag, I mean, I will often have, things that some people might think are boring, like a Fuji apple.
That's good. I love
Fuji apples. And I like jerky, believe it or not. It's not a pretty snack. You're making a face at me.
No, because
Don't judge me, Hoda.
No, I like the jerky at 7-Eleven, but I just don't eat it that often.
Oh, it's good. Well, it depends. I mean, there's better jerky than others, and they make jerky out of chicken or whatever. And there's
if you feel like it's hearty, you feel like you're getting something.
You know what? I am a protein person. Mm-hmm. I love protein, so I love like the Starkist tuna pouches.
Oh,
I just
with
keep
the seasoning,
the best. Oh my God, the sweet and spicy.
Mexican.
Yeah. I have a Mexican like lettuce wraps that I use those for, but those are great. They already are flavored, but again, I'm a protein person, so I eat a lot of egg whites. But in my bag, I also like Quest bars. They're really great bars that are so satisfying. Sometimes bars, if you eat one, you're hungry right afterwards. Right. This one is like loaded with protein and fiber.
And a lot of people, when they have food issues, and I know because we do this Joy Fit Club where people drop 100 pounds, and often there's a food issue and then there's an emotional issue. Every time you get to know somebody, you know more of it. And sometimes I always wonder, can you solve one issue if you haven't really corrected the other? I know it's kind of a deep thing, but I notice that every time we have someone come out and they've been through trauma,
right,
and they've lost the weight, and I hope they come back in a year and have still kept it off.
And then they keep it off. Yeah,
it's
a tough one. But I feel like usually if they take one step in one positive direction, so if they start to drop the weight, it really helps snowball everything into them being a more positive, happier person.
Can I tell you, I have one recipe that I do, and it has 2 ingredients.
What is it?
You won't believe it. Okay, so you take a pan, then you take a piece of Chilean sea bass or cod. It has to be those 2 pieces of fish.
Okay.
You put it in the pan. Then you go to the store and you buy something called ponzu sauce. I cook nothing. It's like a sweet
ponzu.
Glug, 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 glug. Halfway up.
Do you have to make those sound effects?
Yes.
Okay.
Halfway up the fish in the oven, 350, 300. For 30 minutes, you take it out. It's like the Nobu cod. Have you ever had that?
I have. I love it.
I'm telling you, it's the only thing I can make. I make it for Joel all the time. He's like, "Are we having the same thing?" And yes, we are. Okay, it's what I make. But what I love about your book is the simplicity of they're for people like me. who don't know how to do it.
Yes, 2, 3, 5 ingredients and simple. But your recipe sounds great. I'm going to try that.
Would you try that?
Absolutely.
And are your fans all ages, by the way? Are they?
They're all ages. Sometimes it's like there's a kid and or a high school student and her mom and her grandmother all at the book signings together. 3 generations.
And where's your next one? Where are you off to? Do you know?
I'm actually kicking off the tour tomorrow at an event in North Wales, Pennsylvania, a.k.a. near Philly. And then I'll be in New Jersey the night after at a beautiful ShopRite in Morristown on Wednesday night.
That is awesome. Do you enjoy the book tours?
It's my favorite thing.
Get to meet the people.
Especially because, you start out doing these things and you're sending emails to people and I'm like, will anybody read these?
Is anyone coming? And they come.
Then you see them face to face and it's great.
I want to say congrats. Lisa Lillien, your book, The Hungry Girl Diet, is on the way to being another one. The recipes are simple. Go out and get it, because why wouldn't you? It's got healthy recipes for mix and match meals and snacks. You can't beat that. Lisa, thank you so much. Good luck with the book and have a lot of fun on your book tour. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.